Yeah.
Aha!
Is there another one?
Yeah, but carry on as we are, more to you. We'll just come out.
You sure?
Yeah, it's just catching. It's alright, it'll come any minute. It's going to come with a quickie. Duncan. Okay, now we've cut the frame.
Yeah.
Down there, and now we're going to knock this away to release the glass, because it's the glass that we want at this moment. This is all going to be replaced, so we don't need any of that.
Right, what about these bars?
The bars that are tied to the window,
yeah,
they stop it from caving in. They're set into here about 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to knock them out now, and they should just come out, which they are doing, and we're releasing the glass.
Yeah, I can see.
Remember, the glass has been putted. The putty now is so dry and all that it's not doing any good.
And there's the glass dropping.
There we are.
Wow.
You can see how it's been made. It's been all put together as it was made, which makes it very difficult to repair. That's the groove. And the day it was all made together.
So that wood has been compressed around the glass rather than rebaited in.
That's right, yeah. And there's the profile of the window frame. You can see there's no loose components. It's all been made as one, and that's still pretty good.
Right. Right. So we're running again. So
cut that one again as well.
Right, so this is going to cut the top half of the arch off. Yeah. Yeah. So that's not gone all the way through. So does that finish off with the saw?
It does.
Right, yeah.
No.
Not quite through.
We've got to maintain the integrity of that arch at all times.
Right, so this arch can't really move to ensure that it goes back in the hole properly. Is that correct?
It is. This arch is still very valuable. And to make a new one in wood,
it's going to be very expensive. So you're preserving as much as the wood as possible. Okay.
Out of there, we don't have to.
Right, so.
Alright, so it may or it may not. Depending. No, it ain't going to come.
You need me to hold the glass?
We now need to ease the glass out. I've got to drill these out.
Those the frame bars that support the glass from blowing about. Right, so we'll pause there because it's a two-man job. Okay, so these have been slightly drilled to try and free up these bars. We're going to see with a bit of persuasive pressure if these will now come twisting out. Well, we've got movement there. Success. So just two more to go. Just see how far that's rebaited in the hole. down and last one to go. Nice and easy. Right, so we'll pause the video there, people, while we try and gently persuade this glass out the frame. Right, so we have success at getting that last piece of wood off without cracking any of the panes of glass, which are almost impossible to replace. You can see some replacements here. That's clear in comparison to the rest of the glass, which goes to show that it's been a replaced pane, as it's very difficult to get the glass looking 200 years old. So the next stage is stripping completely every piece of leadwork from every piece of glass and rebuilding the whole of this glazed unit, and then redoing all the wood. So until the next video. Okay, so this is the arch after it's been split, and it's the inside view, and because of the amount of nails, obviously various bits of damage have happened, so there's a question of refilling these bits that have split off. That one wasn't too bad, but on the other side it's actually split all the way across, and that's the glue join, and by the time it's all been finished off and treated and primed and painted, no one will notice any difference whatsoever, and by the time it's finished it'll look like new. Right, we're recording now, so as you can see the primer paint's going on all the new woodwork
And the old.
and the old, yes.
We must get the rebates well primed because of the... And of course it's all oil based paint.
Yeah, so almost all of the window has been replaced apart from the archway.
But not the inside of the window, remember. Oh yeah.
But as you said, not the inside. This rebate is all being properly primed up. And as you can see, it's still a lot of the original woodwork around this arch. So keeping as much as possible and as feasible of the original window.
Yes, of course.
The video going.
3 more undercoats and
Right.
2 glosses.
Okay, so this is the first coat of the primer going on. So it's looking better already. Nice bit of solid wood. So that's first coat of primer, and what next to go on?
2 more undercoats and
2 more?
1 gloss.
2 more undercoats and then a gloss.
And
Lovely.
2 gloss.
Oh, 2 gloss, just to make sure it's top dollar. Lovely. And then next stage will be rebating leaded lights back in.
They'll be starting in 2 days when the new lead arrives in the glass.
Right, so we're waiting for supplies, so with any luck it could be back in within the month.
Oh, definitely.
Hey, job's a good one.
Max.
Okay, so stained glass is out, and when it's out you can see the definite coloration of the old glass. One clear piece there, the rest have got a green tinge, and if we come further up the window you can see the glass that has been replaced by the lack of a green tinge. In the top part, although not visible when in situ, there is a definite coloured diamond shape, and this is the top arch, and again a replacement piece of glass in the top arch, and this is all how it has come out. No replacements or refurbishments have been made yet, but it will be progressed. So most of this lead, if not all of this lead, will be completely stripped off.
There will be no lead left.
Right.
All new.
Every single piece of lead will be redone, re-cemented, re-solder jointed, and then is this going to be rebated back into the main arch or compressed in? Rebated, I presume.
It'll be rebated properly.
Yeah, so a proper rebate, so in 100 years time, 200 years time, when it needs doing again, it'll be an easier job.
If you look at that, it was never done properly in the first place, if you look.
Oh,
if you look
Can
at
you
this,
show
look.
us?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because when it was compressed in, it never really went in properly. Because what they did is they ripped off half the other side of it to make it go in easy, or to make it appear it's going in. Same with the top here. So that compression method you used wasn't really.
So certainly not the best method,
No.
and been bodged a little bit as well. So there we go. Job will be done properly this time. All thanks to our sponsors.
I'm going to now tidy up the garage and start them probably in the morning, or probably
Right.
tonight, depending on what's going to happen with my
So
life.
this is the glass that's been stripped of the old lead, and every single piece is kept in the same order for reassembly. That's the main parts. The smaller parts are not so important. All this glass work has been exposed to different chemicals for cleaning. Steve, what chemicals have you used, or is that trade secret?
Trade secret.
Trade secret. But this is what you pay for with the craftsman. You're paying for his knowledge, not for a tutorial. So we are making progress, and things are coming along. Orders have come in for all the lead and cement to start reassembling these, which will then get put back into the window and back in situ. So all going to plan. Right, so here's the top of the arch, and it's quite obvious that a pane of glass has been replaced there because it's not the right colour. See, that comes out. So in order to keep it the same colour, the sensible thing to do is take a square out from the lower pane and put that right, and then the order for green glass, which has come in especially the other day, can then be cut and made to fit the lower part of the arch, which we have down here with the other parts of the glass. And although it's a blue background underneath, you can see which ones are clear and which ones are coloured. So, as we say, job's a good one. Until we get going.
Okay.
Right, yeah, so we're up and running, and here we are cutting all the edges for the arch, because these are the ones that take the most damage, even when it was being put in situ in the first place. To expansion, contraction, a lot of damage to these small edge pieces that go around the edge of the table. So in the hands of a skilled craftsman,
They do have to be accurate, these.
well, very accurate, I would imagine.
It has to be. Really accurate.
Because you can't have your window 5mm too big,
No.
can you? And there we go, easy peasy.
So they are going down the side here. That's the bottom.
Okay.
And they're going to come to this side. We've got some original, but not many. As you can see, the corners, they are actually mited.
Oh
That's what
gosh,
we're gonna
mited
recreate.
corners as well.
Yeah. That's how it goes.
Wow. And then once that all gets cut and ready, then it'll be... Right, so we're now getting on to technical tools. That's a lead stretcher. And the idea of a lead stretcher is to make the lead straight and also to give it a bit of stiffness. And it does take a fair amount of grunt, I do believe.
It does.
So that basically just snags the lead, I presume, and stops it from moving. And then we'll get a lot of pulling doing. Yeah, there's the lead that's stretched. Taking all the kinks out and give it a bit of robustness as well. Right, so here we have our stretched piece of lead. Now you can't just cut this with tin snips, so you need a proper tool of a lead cutter. So here we go, let's see it in action then. Obviously the end's a bit manky from the stretching and pinching, so that just rolls through the lead. With a bit of a mitre finish for the corner, because that's what we're going to be doing. And there's a rebate for all in the lead for all the glass to be slotted into. hold together.
That's our first joint.
First joint ready to go. And a long way to go yet, with every bit of lead between every one of these bits of glass. Right, so now we've got painstaking task of starting the lead in. And the edges have been started here, as you can see, and it's all put into a very true rectangular corner to get everything square. And it all has to be built back up one piece at a time. So the lead goes into the joints. As you can see, I'll just get up this end. These fingers at work. So that's all marrying up now. And each piece of this lead is all cut separately down to the millimetre, well, less than a millimetre, to ensure everything lines up. Obviously, if you're doing 10 in a row and you're a millimetre out on each one, it's not going to fit. Now that's fairly quickly assembled because everything has been pre-cut to give an idea of how this all shapes together. And obviously, don't do this at home because you'll cut your bloody fingers off. Right, once that's in place, things have to be tacked in. Very delicate job, because if you break the glass, there isn't any more to replace it with. So these are all original pieces. So that ties everything together. And obviously this is just one small corner that's taken a couple of minutes. We've got the whole rest of the window and the arch to do, which all needs piecing together very carefully. We get the one long one there to go on, and then once that's in, it's got to be married up to make sure it all fits together. And then each of these joints, if I can get a close up, although mitered in very nicely, each one of these joints has to be soldered together, and that's going to be an awful lot. But here's the next piece, linking all these together. Getting it all marked up, ready for mitering. Now, while that's being trimmed, trying to do a rough bit of maths here, you're probably going to have over 100 solder joints going on later.
Both sides.
And that's both sides, yeah. So, patience is the key. All this is going to be ensured that it fits together properly, it's all in line, it's all straight before the next set gets started. It's all got to be held in place. Oh. Not a job that can be rushed.
No.
No.
And there we go.
So, a lot of progress has been made. So, all the diamond leading at the bottom panel, and the square leading, and then progress is starting to be made into the diamonds again, and the clear ones there are the replacement bits of glass. And coming up to the top, the fiddly arch bit, which I would imagine is fiddly.
Pleasant.
So, and then everything has to be jigged into place with bits of wood, and those horseshoe nails, are they? Holding them in place? Or similar. So, get a close up and you can see it's those special types. So, and it's all looking rather good, rather smart. But as you can tell, everything's got to be to the millimetre not only on each piece but across the whole unit. Otherwise it won't go back in the hole, and we will be in a bit of a pickle if that happens. So it's all perfectly square, lined up, bits getting replaced, the job's going really well. And once it's in situ, the tinges to the glass will be exceptionally difficult to see, but it'll all look nice in the end. Right, so part 2 of all this cementing. That's side 1 all sort of splodged in, and then it's a question of delicately turning it over.
So this is obviously still very wet,
yeah.
And it has gone under and around the cane. Now we're going to turn it over and we're going to do the same on this side. Now as you can see, it's come through. It's come through on its own accord.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can see that that brush technique does work and it does get it round.
Force it through.
And that's why it is so messy, because it's just putty, but it has to have, it's got a lot of oil in it, so it will flow round.
You can just see the bit there easing out. Oops. Try and get that in focus. Right.
Okay, so there we go again. So the same again.
Splodge it all in. Splash it all over. Right, so I'll just pause this while you finish this off.
Yes.
Right, so that's both sides filled with that mucky stuff, which I think you call cement. So it's a question of cleaning up now.
Yeah, now we're going to fold the lead down.
Oh, you fold it down first and then clean it up.
We're going to press it down, and then we're going to scrape off as much excess as we possibly can. And we're going to use just a piece of wood, a fid, it is also known as. And so I'll start here.
I've got proper plastic ones of those.
Yes,
you know.
I bet you have, Duncan. I bet you've got some right proper stuff at home.
I did have when I was doing the plastic windows.
Oh,
Wash my mouth out.
The good old days. So we're closing it down.
Because that seals it onto the glass, really, doesn't it?
Yes.
Stops water ingress and frost erosion and all the rest of it.
Yeah, you're actually closing it as tight as you can to the glass. And of course, any putty that's in there now will then set, and it'll set. Well, it'll set solid, just about solid anyway.
I presume that'll take quite a while if it's sealed, or is it chemical reaction?
Well, it is. It goes on the moisture in the air.
Right.
So I suppose it's like all putty does. That goes. It's just like the moisture in the air, isn't it? Like an oxidisation. And yes, it will take a while, because don't forget, we've got to rest these panels now for a week until we start moving them about.
Okay. Right, well I'll pause the video there, because obviously this is going to take quite a while, and then we'll continue on in a few minutes. Okay, so that's all the cement rubbed in, all the lead work pressed down, sorted out. So final stage for this side, all the muck you can see there is on the other side of the glass. This side is actually clean and being wiped down with a rag. So I believe this stage is called whiting.
This is the whiting stage.
So
now
whiting.
We've removed all the excess cement from there, so there's still some on there, of course, but that doesn't matter. This next little stage is going to deal with that. Now what this is doing is going into those little the little joints now, and it's going to,
any minor gaps, I presume.
Yeah, it's going to dry up any of the exposed cement putty. Now we've got a nice little brush for this. We can keep this brush, so we keep using this one all the time. So this is getting quite old now, whereas the other brush,
your old nail brush then.
Yeah, it's a nice soft brush. What you do your shoes with, really, I would say. Yeah, you could polish your shoes with this. And what we're doing there then, we're rubbing that into the canes again at 90 degrees to them, so it's going in. And as you can see, it's also cleaning things. That's getting dirtier and dirtier. And
almost like a dry shampoo.
a dry shampoo, that's a good way of putting it, Duncan.
Thank you, sir.
And there we go, so we can see it now. And it is actually still there, you can still see little bits, but we're going to then, the last part is where we go round with a really fine little stick, and then we define all the glass areas then and get rid of everything. That'll be the final clean.
Final stage.
So there we go. Now we must get it off the cane at this stage, because if any of that putty gets left on the lead, it'll look awful, and it is a devil to get off once it's set.
Yeah. If that's setting harder than the lead, it's going to be a bit of a tricky process, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, I'll just pause the video on while that finishes off.
When you're ready.
Right, so now that's been done, it's just the final stage of, what, edge cleaning, for want of a better expression.
We go around now, around the edge of the cane onto the glass, and then that's kept it, keeps it nice and neat. Then that's it. This is the last stage. That'll go round that. This is quite a little quick stage. Just cleaning it off.
And then the whole process has got to be repeated for the other side, and then cleaned off again, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And then left for a week.
Left for a week. Yeah.
Before it can go back in the arch.
Yeah.
And that's the end of that little video. Say good night.
Good night.
So off we go with removal of the boarding.
Take it out your end like it was. Alright, you got that one then.
I've got this minute away and get down the steps out of the way. That's what I'm saying. Oh, come on.
Oh, bright lights!
Okay, is that yours, Pete?
Yeah. Save that for the rest.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Can't chop the things off.
Unless I've made it wrong.
Right, make sure you get it in the right way round, boys.
So we're hoping that it's not going to just and gone.
It can.
Okay.
Well, we could tie a rope on here and no can hold it. Or it could be balanced.
It'll pull me out the window with it.
Right, now if I remember right, we did struggle, didn't we?
No, because what we're going to do, what is this? I've got my finger under here so I can get hold of the bottom. And we're going to just lift it up, support it with the back end, put the bottom in and then stand it up.
Do you want the ladders moved out the way a little?
No, just leave them there. I'll be straight up. They're not in the way, are they? Right, so
Yeah,
we'll
so you're walking there.
we'll move it to there now then, shall we? We'll go there now. It might actually be easy if it's got a handle on.
Yeah, exactly.
I think this one was a bit difficult because of the, we had no to grab it, didn't we?
Get hold of the bottom and try and get up. Alright, so you want to put that set on in? You in?
Yeah.
We'll go up a bit higher, ready? Stand at the top, alright.
Have you got that?
I've got that one here. Slide.
Oh. Now on the top then, right?
I can see it's just caught on a fraction of cement about
Oh,
10
really?
o'clock.
Yeah.
So probably a good bash.
No. Right.
Right, just hold it there.
Yeah.
Hello, Cole. That must be as far as it goes.
Well, have a look outside this window.
This is as far as it goes.
Can you see, is it touching?
Looks that way.
Yeah, it's just the bottom now, needs going in.
Dark. Right, that just went. It moved.
Will it move more? You can see, yeah, it wants to go more.
Wants to go more. It's a little tap.